Hi, boys and girls. So, welcome back to Reading Workshop for Wednesday, April 22nd. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you guys are keeping up with the reading because you kind of need the reading in order to do the writing, and vice versa. Okay, so I made a little connection using Twitter. Um, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but you tweet, and I like to use it for like educational purposes. And this is actually like a meeting I was invited to. And what I love about it, it was, it's on Twitter, right? So anyone can kind of see it basically. But what I love, it was so specific. It says data and assessment in a new virtual world. It tells you who's going to be there, it tells you when, it tells you the time, it tells you how to register, even tells you like when it was posted and the date. So it's very specific, and that's what we want to do just in our reading and writing. We want to be specific, and we want to include all those important details. Readers write about their reading in a powerful way by including specific details and big ideas about the significance of the details. I really want you guys to focus on that this week. You're doing such a great job at, using your own voice and like kind of like interpretation in a sense, even though we're talking about the westward expansion because this is, a research unit, right? So you guys do have to have, your voice and such. Examine your notes. Make sure you have specific detailed notes on important events, places, and people. Include description, facts, and numerical data. That's why we included those timelines for you guys. And we've been giving you tons of articles that do have all of this. And I have checked, well, for my students at least, I see your outlines, and your outlines were very well done. Now, if you've been keeping up with all of the lessons, then you should have these things no problem, and you can just grow better ideas. Create a new column, My Ideas, or color code jots that include your own thinking about these details. So some things you can jot about. How is this person, place, event important to the topic? How is this person, place, or event connects to another person, place, or event? So kind of thinking about how what you're reading is important to the topic, but then how other events are also connecting as well. Even the timelines, like how does one event happen and then the other event happen, and how do they connect together? Okay, so this is what your notebook might look like. This is what your digital notebook might look like, or your actual notebook. So Trail of Tears is the main topic that we've been modeling with and working with. So I have some main ideas, and look here in the middle column, you see the Trail of Tears. I have all like years, right? I have like facts. Look, I even have 1/4 like of the population died. I'm very specific, right? He sold 5 million, okay? So, oh, this happened in 1830. And I can get even more specific when I'm writing about this. So in order to do today's lesson, like you really have to have some good notes. And this is the perfect example of some main ideas and some bullets that I might have found under those ideas. And this is like really setting you up for your writing. So some of my ideas, just to like sum it up, because yesterday when we looked at that primary source, my ideas started to change. So I thought that this is important to the topic because it changes my perspective on what happened. I wasn't aware of the soldiers being involved and that they were funded by Americans during this trip. And some Americans actually went with them to help. Like, I had no idea of that. So now it's almost like taking all of my notes and maybe going back to the Trail of Tears over here. Um, and maybe I can add on and say something like, hey, wait a minute. The Americans provided like support, and the Americans provided soldiers to go with them and help them. Another idea that keeps sticking with me as I'm reading through anything is definitely the fact that the Native Americans went through hardships. So that's something you're going to see a lot, like in my writing. The Americans helped fund their trip even though they kicked them out of their land. So this is like totally changing my idea, my perspective. That's what I'm thinking. So it helped to fund their trip. But then they were always saying how they were so upset about the way they were treated. Like, I need to do some more research. I need to get some facts. That's kind of how I'm feeling. And like, that's the feeling that I want to give my reader in my essay. So I even thought about this too. In the primary source, General Jackson. So who are they referring to? He states Jackson, my best friend. I'm thinking, who's the author of this document, and how is he connected to this event? Now they might say, they said yesterday something. He was a resident of Maine, and when we look at a primary source, it's a person that's directly involved. But I wonder if there was more to it. Like, that's what I'm thinking. So I might like revise my thinking and start to do some more research on the Native Americans and the Americans during that time. So I just included this example from the writing, just so how can you add to make it powerful, okay? So you want to think about what led up to the Trail of Tears. So before I actually get to the Trail of Tears and now I'm considering my ideas that my perspective has changed a bit, I gotta give you a little bit of introduction. I'm not just gonna say, oh, here's the Trail of Tears. I'm gonna tell you what led up to the Trail of Tears. So the suffering of Native Americans didn't begin with the Trail of Tears. White settlers had been pushing Native people off the land for a long time, especially after the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. So I'm thinking right there, maybe I should further research the Louisiana Purchase. Like maybe, this started, maybe something to do with the Americans during that time. I think I might want to further research that because that's connecting with my ideas that I'm having here. The settlers didn't feel like they had enough. They still wanted more lands. So it seems like the settlers were like at such controversy, like with the Native Americans. And then it says that the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Seminole, and civilized tribes tried to fit in with the settlers. They wore the same clothes and had some of the same customs as they did. But when gold was found on Cherokee land, the settlers got their government to pass a law that would push the people of the 5 tribes out of the eastern United States for good. Okay, so I know that it seems like the settlers are obviously greedy, right? And they wanted something. But I feel like this connects to my idea that yes, they went through hardships. However, I wonder what was the biggest argument between the Americans and the Native Americans. I think I need to research that a little bit more. So as I'm going to go ahead and research, I want to go back and examine my notes, make sure that I have specific detailed notes on important events, places, and people, which is what I'm showing you right here. And you'll have a copy of this slideshow so you can go back and check out those notes. Create a new column, My Ideas, or color code jots that include your own thinking. So here's some of my ideas, right? And here's some of my own thinking. This is important to the topic because it changes my perspective, right? And then these are some more ideas that I'm having. How is this person, place, or event important to the topic? And then you can think how it connects to another person, place, or event. And then add on to your writing, right? And then what you can do is you can do a writing about reading entry right here. And then you can even start to take that writing about reading entry into your writing workshop when you spend time revising. Because if you're going to research a topic, you need to know it well and you need to be able to speak about it. Okay, boys and girls, there's your success criteria. Here's our reading workshop. We went through our connection. We have our teaching point and our how. We have our notes. We have our ideas and our jots. Here's a little example, success criteria, and you try. And then you could transfer this to writing workshop. Okay, boys and girls, have a great day. Bye.